Welcome, y'all. It is your boy Vandal, and we are in here in the studio. And this week, we're going to walk through my track with Zayy, released on MMAD Records, called Tombstone. Let's get it. Welcome, y'all. We're back here, and we're going to do a track walkthrough today. So we've got this track that we did, Zayy and I, and we released on Lumberjack's MMAD Records. And shout out to Lumberjack and Brian and all those dudes over there. So what's up, Isaiah?
What's up? Hey, guys.
So we're in here, and we're getting it done. Tell us a little bit about yourself so that people know who you are.
Well, I've been producing for about a year and a half. I've had my first label release within the first 11 months of making music, like seriously.
And what label was that?
Dimmock. It was,
yeah. So Zayy released a track on Dimmock after starting, and Zayy was actually one of my first students actually.
Mm.
And you've had some pretty big successes since starting. It's pretty nuts because you've only been producing for a year and a half.
Yeah, it's not that long.
Something
feels like I've been producing
something
forever.
like that. Excuse me, but yeah. So he's only been producing for a little while, and it's something that really goes to show that if you work really hard and you have the right mentor and you have the right teacher, you can really go far. That's why I planned on starting the Vandal Masterclass, and I'm going to do it for a limited amount of students, probably 8 to 10, if definitely 8, and then if 2 more really wow me and are really dope and really I can really help, then those other 2 will be in there. But it's only going to be for 10 students, and at most 10 students, and there's going to be some real value in there for you guys. I'll talk a little bit more about that, but let's get into this walkthrough. So Zayy,
Word.
So we have sorry. So we have this we have the track that we started. This is Tombstone.
Yep.
Features me on there with the vocals. Shout out to me. Anyway, so we have this track here, and just tell us how we started this. So
first I started the drop with the drum loop.
Mm-hmm. So these drums right here, right?
Yeah, where'd they go? And then...
Yeah, so let's play that real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very basic.
The groove and the swing on there is really dope. Talk about that a little bit.
Well, I found I used Splice to get the actual like groove of it, and then I did my little ear candy stuff with the white noise in the beginning, and then I think that like metallic like snare layer, I think that was a 1-shot 2 I found off of.
Oh, metallic
something.
snare.
I think I had I think I got like a care package from one of my boys, and I think I used that from what I remember.
Is it this drum bounce layer you're talking about?
Yeah. Yeah.
This layer.
Yeah, because I bounced it.
Yeah.
Because it was mixed so perfect, I didn't want to change it.
So this little... That.
Yeah. It's like a weird percussion loop.
That's pretty fire. That's where all the swing comes from.
All the swing,
Yeah. So we have this track is so freaking heavy. We ended up using a lot of Splice in this. Now Splice, if you're a producer and you're not using Splice, you're definitely missing out on a wealth of sounds, and yeah, it's pretty immense. Like, oh yeah, and if you haven't heard this track already, check it out in the description. We have a link in the description. And I'll also I actually have a link to like how I did these vocals. So once we get to that section, I'll play them out, but I'm not going to go in depth with them. You can check the link out up here. So so let's talk about like the drums and the leads and how you started. So Zayy actually brought this to me with he had the drop pretty much done in the intro pretty much, and I ended up adding like the ARP and all the stuff in the intro.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much
it. And then
it.
the vocals, and then
the vocals is what made it. Filled up
the whole track.
And then we did the transition together into the break, and then I think we built it up, and then he went ham. On the second drop.
When you're collabing with someone, it's always like you want to one up them and make the track just that much better by bringing something new and bring something heavier.
Yeah.
And that's healthy competition, especially with amongst producer friends and amongst brothers and stuff like that. So, so we have oh shit, I just messed up this. There you go. All right. So we have let's see what else. So let's actually listen to the drop itself. Actually, let's listen to the intro into the drop. Why not, right? Like a little piece of the intro. So we'll go from here.
Give you an idea.
It's that tombstone rhythm shit.
All right, so that's the first drop. That's Zayy's drop, which is pretty heavy. When he brought this to me, I was like, "Yo, bro, we got to work on this together," because it's pretty fire. So let's actually talk about the sound design a bit. Talk about your approach to this first drop.
I forgot the reference track I used for it, but I know it was. I think it was my boy John Casey.
Okay,
Yeah,
shout out to John Casey.
Yeah,
he's
man.
He's a beast. You guys should check him out. He's from where? South America? South Africa.
South Africa.
He's
Yeah.
from South Africa. He's sick.
Yeah, I think I heard one of his songs and they kind of like sparked something in me, and then it started off with a one shot, like the
This
like
one,
that. Yeah, he can show you.
this first one, right?
There's just one
lead
shot, yeah. Lead one shot.
This thing right here. Start out with this.
Yeah. Yep. The first one.
Fire.
I don't know. Like sometimes when you just start a song and you have like a just like a sound to start off with, it kind of gives you an idea of like where the rest of the song should go.
Mm-hmm.
And then I paired that up with some other weird synth fills,
synths
and then I mean, I learned this from Hero Bust. He was saying when you're making a drop, he's like, do your fills first and then fill in your main sounds, because then it's easier to accommodate for those fills, rather than start with a really dirty bleed sound and then try to make a fill, because then it's just like it's a lot more time consuming.
Yeah. So what's the main sound in here? This lead bounced bass synth here.
This was a Virtual Riot one shot that I kind of just stretched. Yeah, I kind of just stretched it. I did my own processing on it.
Now
to bump up the sub and do some compression, some Valhalla reverb.
Mm-hmm. So now you guys are seeing like whenever you look at our channel strips here, right? You're seeing just a bunch of like kind of like the bounce down, strip down.
Yeah, it's not the full processing.
It's not the full processing. Now, if you want to get the full processing, you're gonna have to get into the masterclass. We actually walk through a lot of more in-depth tracks.
This is a different session.
Yeah, we actually have the full session in another session because that one has a ton of crazy stuff. I guess secrets, yeah, but we don't want to keep anything from you. But a lot of that stuff is like it's so much value, and we're gonna give it to you, but we want to give it to you in the masterclass because. Yeah. We want people who are going to take that stuff and learn that stuff to be serious. To be serious about about their productions and all that, and really want to get better. So the masterclass is going to be something that is going to be full of value. I'll have other producers in there with other videos, and it's going to be a one-on-one format. So the masterclass is going to be not one-on-one. Like every week we'll meet as a class, online, and then. You'll have one-on-one access to me, and I'll also be providing some you know what we should do? We should give some channel strips away, like the like the processing that we do on our tracks. Yeah, that'd be sick.
It's very simple stuff. We should definitely. I'm gonna do that. So we're gonna put some of our the channel strips that I use all the time in my tracks. Just a little background on me, if you guys don't know. I've produced remixes for Sony signed artists, major labels and stuff. I've
produced music that has been supported by Skrillex, Diplo, Jack U, Party Favor, Adventure Club, and a bunch more. And then also, I've done remixes for Lumberjack and MMAD Records, and have had some success, a lot of success actually, with labels like Philosophy Recordings, and played some stuff on some commercials with HP and all that. So I can actually provide so much value to you guys because of the amount of work that I took. Zay, tell them about how much better you got in such a short amount of time, just by having me, as your source of information.
Well, since we lived in the same house together, I would make music upstairs in my room. He'd be in the basement in his studio. So whenever I had a question, I'd literally just take my laptop out, unplug it from my Scarlett, come down here and just ask him, yo, I need help with this. How do you do this? And he'd just show me like whatever it was, EQing, compression, sidechaining. Like I started from literally zero. It was pretty much nothing. Like he gave me my first laptop. That's how far back it goes. And then I just, whenever I had a question, you just come down or you text him, and then as long as you have the right question and you need the answers, then you should be good. You just have to have the question first. Like I had the questions and I brought it to him right away, and I got it answered, and then I just it was like the snowball effect, one thing just led after the other, and then your production just gets better over time.
Yeah, and having someone in your corner like that, and having someone that knows knows kind of like the position that you're in and where you're going and what you're trying to do really helps. I know that it took me a while to get that kind of support in my corner, especially as a producer. Now with the MMAD Records family, they're like super supportive of our brand and of what I'm doing. It's so important to have a mentor, even in your corner, like someone that can help you get through certain things and learn certain things and expedite certain processes. The knowledge I have is built over 10 years, well, actually 12 years of producing. I've been producing music for 12 years now. And I've also went to college and got entertainment business degrees and all this kind of stuff, PR degrees, and this all applies. Like having the business sense also is really important, so that you don't get screwed over and so that you can actually make money doing this. Like that's the end goal. Everybody wants to make money, doing what they're passionate about. And if you have someone in your corner to help you get there,
very worth it.
It's always worth it. So
you spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to get this information.
Yeah,
it's not cheap.
It's not cheap.
Take the sources you can get while you got them.
So
limited spots.
So the master class, it's got limited spots, and you definitely want to get in there early. So keep an eye out and make sure you subscribe and hit that bell button so that you can know when the master class starts, because the spots will be very limited, and you want to get in there ASAP and get that value, because there's gonna be so much value. I'm gonna be still making these videos, walkthrough videos and stuff, and I'm still gonna be giving you a lot of stuff for free. But if you really pay attention, you may be able to pick up some stuff. But the masterclass is where you're directly gonna be picking up stuff, like black and white. I'm gonna tell you exactly how it is, exactly what I do, show you every little detail, and it's just going to be great. We're going to get in the nitty gritty, and you're going to be able to get really good at producing really quick, and also learn a little bit of business stuff too. So where were we? We were with we were in the leads, right?
Leads, yeah.
Excuse me, my God. So we were in the leads. So we have a few things going on here. Let's actually solo these out and see what Zayy did. So actually listen to this. Wow, that is so fat, it's ridiculous. Talk about it.
So, for the, which one do you want me to talk about first? The lead?
However you want to, like, your thought process through this, because I don't know how the heck you did what you did.
Okay, so the thought process, like I said before, was I had a reference track from my boy John Casey, and that kind of influenced this track a lot. And I'm pretty sure I started off with the one shot, and then it kind of just, like, I don't know how to explain, it just fell together, like, just perfectly.
Yeah.
Everything I picked just kind of, it was one of those sessions, if you ever if you've been making music long enough, it's just one of those sessions where you put something in and it just works. It just works. Like it's like you're not trying hard, and it's like you're on a roll. And that's how we got to finish the song in 2 days. So.
Yeah, we finished it in 2 days, signed it to the label the third or fourth day by the end of the week or whatever. And they actually sent us, let's talk about the arrangement a little bit, right? Because they sent us some notes back, and it's always good to get feedback on your tracks from anyone that, is in that kind of position. So we sent it to the label, and Brian from the label was like, hey, you have to, you should do this, this, and this, and we'll actually walk through it. So in the beginning, we have the standard arrangement, like the intro.
Yep.
It's about 8 bars.
Trap arrangement.
Yep, trap arrangement. And then the intro is about 8 bars, and it kind of like leads into a little rap verse.
Yep.
And then a build, and then the drop, right? And then it goes back. Now, the notes that Brian gave us, like, the track was pretty much done at this point, but then Brian was like, hey, you guys should add something in the second break that keeps the energy up. And the simple thing that we did there was we added a little clap here. See these claps, drum claps? And the claps have a delay so that it kind of sounds like it's more than one clap, but it really is just one clap, and the delay is on one side. So this is the sample, and then on the other side is the actual delay, so that it has some like movement going. Like, so if you see, it's actually a stereo thing that's going on here, and it gives it kind of like a slap, just gives it kind of movement, so that it's not just this regular clap,
We're lucky enough to work in Ableton. Use that grain delay.
Oh yeah, the grain delay in Ableton is sick. Logic is just what we work in. Logic is just
that's what I started.
What we started in, and if it isn't broken, I have to fix it. You know what I mean? So, no DAW is better than any other DAW. I know that Ableton is sick for audio editing. It really is dope, and you can arrange stuff really quickly in there. And they also have some really cool cool plugins in there.
Or you can use UberMod if you want that delay.
Oh yeah, Valhalla Ubermod. I love Valhalla. Shout out to you guys. Shout out. I would love to have a sponsor from you guys. It'd be sick. But
same with Splice.
Same with Splice. Yeah, it'd be sick.
He's not sponsored.
Yeah. So then the track goes from that little gap part to keep just to kind of get a break from the drop into a verse again. It just goes right back into a verse. So it's pretty simple. Now here comes my drop, and my build is a little bit different. I have one thing that we both did in our builds is use the lead synth as a riser. Let me just see if I can find it here somewhere. I think this is it right here. So see, organization is really, really key. Having your tracks labeled, and having them color coded really helps you get to things really quickly. This is a big session, over 100 tracks if you count the buses, so it's like it's hard to find stuff if you don't have it labeled or color coded. So here's something that I do often that actually more so lately than before, is actually use the lead as a pitch up effect in the build up. Check it out. Now, I also did a bunch of other things before I bounced that down. There are, there's a bunch of effects that are in there. Like I used Dada Life Endless Smile, which is sick, and I used Valhalla Reverb and some filtering and some stereo stuff going on in there. I'll go all in depth in like how to make your build super massive inside the masterclass. And if you want to kind of pick up on some of the stuff that I might talk about, possibly, briefly, I've talked about a lot of it in some of my other walkthroughs. So definitely check out those other walkthroughs, the tutorial Thursdays. You definitely want to peep those. There's a whole playlist. There's a bunch of them. And so so usually what I do is then I'll have you know, a lot of drums in my build. I like making my builds like have so much tension, because when the drop comes and I cut out all the bass and everything, the drop hits so freaking hard. So my drop is pretty heavy. Like I said, I wanted to one up Zayy because he came with some filthy, like, it's just a filthy sound, filthy drop.
Very
so much
competitive
bass.
song.
Yeah. And so here's the second drop.
It's that tombstone rhythm shit.
All right, so as you can see, that was pretty filthy. And my whole thing was I just really wanted to make the track like just super heavy for the second drop. So you can see most of this is audio. Actually, the whole session is audio right now. None of my lead sounds here were actually MIDI. I had absolutely no MIDI. The reason why we finished this track so quick was because we used a lot of splice, and we did a lot of like processing to splice sounds. Now I'm unashamed about that, because when we use the samples from splice, it's like splices, that's what it's for, to make music with, right? Now you can, like, if you just take a freaking the whole like demo or the mix of a track and then put it in your breakdown,
no.
You're not doing anything with much effort there, you know.
That's
or
actually against the terms and agreement of Splice.
Oh yeah, actually,
you can't do that.
Yeah. And I've heard some songs with like stuff
it's
like
really blatant.
It's like, come on, guys.
It's
like,
not good for you in the long run.
Anyway, so what we did was we found some really heavy sounds. Actually, when I was going through, I heard Zayy. The sounds that he used were really heavy, so I needed to match him with some heavy sounds, you know, too. So I went through and I found, like, whenever I think of a drop, when it's like a trap or hip hop, not trap or hip hop, it's like a trap or dubstep drop. I always think of it rhythmically when I'm putting my basses down, and I mean that like this, like, I mean, so you can hear this first hit, right? So this first hit has like kind of its own rhythm, right? Goes bah wah, right? Yeah, that's really bad. So you see what I mean? Like, so it has two beats to it, right? And then my snare cuts it off, right? And then after that, after the snare, it's almost like a puzzle, right? I cut my samples to a certain beat, and if the drums are fire, then then the whole thing is going to be sick. So as you can see, like, you can actually see this, like, even if I took out all the other drums and just kept the kick and the snare, it would make rhythmic sense. So it's always following the certain beat, which is like, it's just a very simple beat. And it's just about picking the right samples that fit together well. And a lot of these samples went through the same processing chain. And a lot of the samples,
that's where it gets its consistency.
Yeah, I needed to make sure that my sounds that I picked were consistent in the bass, in the low end, in the sub, in just the grittiness and dirtiness and fatness of it. And what Zayy did was actually made a really dope. Was that was your channel strip, right? That we ran it through.
Yeah, and then I printed it. I bounced it down, and then
we ran it through the Zayy's channel strip that he made for this track that just made it really fat. So
kept crashing, so I had to bounce it down, and then I just put the Valhalla and the Camel Crusher and the sidechain reverb back on it, and then it sounds good.
Yeah,
we can go more in depth in that if you get into the masterclass.
Into the masterclass. Yep. So there's so many techniques that we can teach you that will that will be like really professor kind of stuff, but the way you use it is very creative, and it would actually help you make your tracks really, really fat, either really wide or really clean, however you want to make them. Like we've got that information in the masterclass. So let's just actually listen to my drop real quick. Okay, now you can see that this drop it consists of a bunch of different sounds, but nothing seems like it's too out of place. It kind of like everything kind of works in and goes the way it's supposed to go. Like it rhythmically works together, melodically works together because they're all in the same key, and they all kind of have close to the same timbre, which is like like the characteristic sound of it, and also they all ran through the same channel strip, so they all sound super fat and distorted and aggressive. That's just the way we were going for this track. Heavy, aggressive, headbanger. So I think it's pretty self-explanatory as far as it goes. It's a dubstep. There's two main things here. It's these two leads. So let's actually solo them. And these are the ones that are driving the track. And like Zay said, Hero Bus says to start with your fills first. Now for this one, I didn't actually start with my fills first. I actually started with Zay's fills. He had these fills up here, the lead reverse fills. Now, because they work so well, I just used them. And they're really simple, and I just kind of built my my drop around that because I wanted it to be consistent. Like sometimes when you make a track and you're collabing with someone, it sounds like two different tracks. You don't want that. And we had a couple of tracks that actually just sounded like two different tracks, two different sessions. Yeah. And this is the first one in a while that actually sounds pretty consistent. Mm-hmm. So, and that's because I ended up using sounds from his drop and running it through his channel strip. That's really important. Collaborating is working together. It's not, it's not one person carrying the other. It's not one person not doing as much work. It's working together. If
you're carrying someone, might as well just finish the song yourself.
You might as well just finish the song yourself.
Plenty of times where I've done that.
So, and my drums, I believe, are much more simple than Zay's. I think
they're similar.
They're a little. Yeah, I kept his really cool loop in there. And his white noise stuff.
We can show you how to make this from scratch in the masterclass.
Yes.
If you're interested in that.
Stuff like this.
It gets pretty complex. Like, it sounds basic. You might be like, oh, it's just this and it's just that. No, it's a lot more. It made my session crash.
Yeah. It gets very, very, very complex. But when you're making music, it's taking a bunch of little ideas and putting them together and stringing all these small creative decisions together. Making music is making decisions. That's all it is. It's just making decisions, creative decisions based on inspiration, based on knowledge of music theory, and we'll talk a bit about theory in the masterclass, and just like general, housekeeping, production stuff, and like just a bunch of stuff. The masterclass is going to be chock full with a bunch of useful information that you're always going to be going back to really polish up your stuff, your production, and you'll always have access to it too. And you'll always have access to me and the community that we build together. We're going to be building this big Vandal clan that's going to be sick. So it's pretty straightforward, this track. There's nothing too crazy going on. It sounds crazy when it's all put together, but it really is just like it's just really thinking about the sounds that you're picking and really, really making deliberate sound design moves with processing these tracks and processing that stuff. This track is not so musical. The most musical part of this is the ARP in the break. and it's really not that crazy. Let's actually check that out. And then we have, I always love doing this, like if I have an ARP, I like to have another ARP there that's complementing it, that's not doing the same thing. So I added this top ARP to it. So this is what it sounds like without it. Pretty dope. And then this is what the other one sounds like. So they're kind of doing the same thing, but the top one is like this really drippy sound, which is really cool and gives it this really nice big, I don't know, like an eeriness, right? Like it's just really like wide, really drippy, really plucky.
You want to build that atmosphere for the song. You want to create a space.
Yeah.
To make the song. When people hear a song, they're like, "Wow, it's huge." It's because they created a big atmosphere and a big space where you got to picture like. You got to picture making your song in like a church. You have a big space to work off. It's going to sound big, nice, beautiful reverbs. And that's where a lot of sidechaining your reverb comes in. And you can learn more of that in the masterclass. Yeah,
that's like some really like, I mean, it's not a completely hidden technique. You can find it, but
there's certain ways that I did it that made it sound like this. And I even do it for my future bass stuff. Yeah.
And there are certain ways that we did it that really help your track sound really big but clean at the same time. Sometimes when you use reverb, it gets really muddy. So let's see what they sound like together. And as you can see, both of them are bouncing around in the stereo spectrum. They're not staying in the center. See? So now, in the break also, all we have is some horns. Now, this sound right here, that's a sound that I made in Serum. And it's actually a really simple sound. I can actually walk you through how I made that sound. Because it's crazy, because it actually is so simple and it sounds massive. It's like a big war horn that I made. I'll walk you through that, but I think I'll keep that exclusive for the masterclass. A lot of the like little really, 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 really detailed stuff I'll keep for the masterclass. So then we layered that with impacts. And that's an impact, I believe, from... that's from... that contact instrument. That's from Gravity. That's from Gravity, which is a freaking fire library for impacts and crazy cinematic sounds. I love using cinematic sounds in my tracks and stuff. So I know Zayy does too.
Yeah,
a lot of cinematic drums. We end up
using
a lot.
Hans Zimmer.
Shout out to Hans, the inspiration, the man. All right, so we also have this little vocal chop thing. Initially, this part had like a future bass
idea,
and they had
that.
Yeah, it had chords. It had this big string section. It actually had a really dope chord progression that it was going into, but we ended up scrapping that and making it just a heavy banger.
Because might as well, you know.
Yeah, because the first drop was really bangerish. So
I like the idea of hard drops and then future bass for the second drop.
Yeah,
but you know, some songs they just don't work, and don't go against the tide. You know, go with the flow. Yeah, when you're producing, the flow is so important. Like you really want to get into a creative space and flow, and your workflow is really important too. And I can actually in my masterclass we actually walk through like best practices for workflow and how you can become a faster producer. We produced this in 2 days. You know. You know, we produced this track in 2 days, and then signed it on Friday. Basically, if we started on Monday, we signed it on Friday. So it's not unheard of to be fast and create quality. You know, it just takes a lot of different things. You gotta know your targets. You gotta hit your targets. You gotta have a target first. Yeah, and you know what? If you know your target, you're gonna know that you're gonna need some resources, some information. And the masterclass is it's gonna give you that. The masterclass is gonna provide that for you. Yeah. For this song, it's like we had the direction. Yeah. And you can't achieve something if you don't know what it is, because then you're just blindly walking into it.
Yep,
So,
exactly. So with the masterclass, we'll be able to give you the, like, you know where you want to go. You know what you want to do with your music. You know how good you want to be. You know that the masterclass is really for the people that are at a
super
point,
serious.
yeah, that are super serious and are at a point where they like, all right, I've learned all this stuff by myself, and now I need to get under somebody's wing. You know, I need guidance from someone. I remember when I was at that point and I got the guidance, and then I got supported by Skrillex. So it really is like, the guidance really is something that is beneficial to you and your career as a person, as a producer, as a business person too. It's going to be beneficial to you. So the masterclass is, that's what it's for. That's what it's for, that person who's like, yo, my stuff is good, but I need someone to help me take it to the next level. And if you're trying to kill it in the music industry, you always got to take it to the next level with anything that you do. So
yeah, take action before you're forced to.
Yeah, take action before you, like, man, you don't want to regret. You don't want to you don't want to like see the last seat on that masterclass go away and be like, damn, I wish I was there. I wish I was there to get that seat, because now, oh man, look, imagine your buddy gets a seat to the masterclass, right? He gets in. He gets done with the masterclass, and then he ends up getting signed to a label.
Very big possibility.
Very big possibility. And when you
guaranteed with hard work and application of the knowledge. That's the most important thing, you know?
And hey man, if you can look at my Instagram, man, and you can see who I'm hanging out with. You can see who I meet. You can see me there with DJ Snake. You can see me there with all the people that we're hanging out with. So it's not a secret, man. We're out here killing it. So if that doesn't show you that I got clout with the people in the industry, then I don't know what does. You know, we're in here, we're making work, we're making moves, we're doing stuff, and it's only going to get bigger from here. And if you really think that, if you really want to get under somebody's wing, man, I'm willing to take you. So I'm only willing to take those people who are serious, though. Yeah, I'm not trying to mess with nobody who's like, oh well, I think I want to produce. No. I need somebody that knows that this is what they want to do.
Yeah.
I need somebody that knows that this value is going to take them to the next level.
Not going to be easy. Pressure makes diamonds, man.
Exactly.
Pressure makes diamonds.
Exactly.
It's not going to be easy. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah. Totally.
You're gonna push yourself out your comfort zone, but
yeah,
when you push yourself out your comfort zone, you make like probably one of your best songs. Like that's what I did recently too. I just finished. I had a song I was sitting on, I couldn't get past it, but then I wrote down every day. I was like, I'm gonna finish this song. I mean, I had a target.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I got close to hitting it, but then once I actually hit it and I finished it, it's probably my best song yet.
Yeah, and you know what? He couldn't have done that without the information that he got. I mean, he probably would have got there, but it would have took him so much longer.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. Zayy started about a year ago. A year and a half ago, and he already has a song signed to Dimmock. He's got another label release here. He's got a couple other label releases coming out. There's some big talks, man. We've got back here behind the scenes, and a lot of it we can't really talk about. But
not yet, yeah.
You know, things are happening, man, and something you want to get in on. You want that guidance. You want that. You want to be in, and you know what? Everyone says the music industry is all about who you know.
Oh yeah,
and the Vandal Masterclass will put you in a place where you're with a bunch of producers. You're going to be around like-minded people. You're going to be, making music. You're going to be shopping music. You're going to be talking to people who know people. It's like connections on connections. Like that is what the masterclass is going to give you.
Mm-hmm.
It's not only going to give you knowledge on producing music. It's not going to give you only knowledge on and resources on producing, like making getting label releases and all that, and making good business moves with music. It's not only going to give you that. It's going to give you that connection, the friends.
Yeah.
Because you know what?
Having friends is very important in anything you do. Like,
when you want to know something, someone told me, who was it? It was, I was talking to Steve Aoki's booking agent, right? His European booking agent, right? We were down in Miami and we were sitting there in the in the Dimmock house, and we were just chatting, and he was like, yeah, it's really about who you know, but like everybody who has connections, people won't work hard. People who are your connections, they won't really work that hard for you. But if they're your friends, they're actually going to work a little bit harder for you. So if you get into a community like the Vandal Clan from the masterclass, you're gonna have these friends. You're gonna nurture these relationships, and that's what's important in the music industry. It's having the friends, the right friends, to help you get forward, to be there with you when you're at the top. You don't want to be alone when you're at the top.
Don't make friends for things. Make friends for friends.
Yes, exactly. It's
know?
the people who are real and genuine that actually move ahead.
Yeah.
And being able to hang out with high level people like Snake and like Steve's people and meeting Morton and label execs. It's like these people know when you're these people know when you're bullshitting them and when you're not genuine. So
you can fool the poor person, you can't fool the successful person.
You can't. They've seen it. That's what the Vandal Masterclass is all about. We got a little bit sidetracked, but let's actually talk about a little bit more of the track. I'll go into the vocals a little bit because these vocals are actually me. You can hear my vocals on this. I actually recorded on this mic that I'm talking on right now. These vocals are me.
What mic is it?
This is a mic I've had for probably 10 years now. It's an MXL V69 Mugami edition. It's not an expensive microphone. It's not. You don't need the most expensive gear. This is a tube microphone, so I really just like the way it sounds. And I actually I recorded it through some hardware gear that I got in my studio. I have an 1176 and a Warm Audio Tone Beast. Yeah. So if you love gear, man, I can talk about gear forever and ever and ever. I'll probably do a video. Leave a comment in the comment section below. See if you want to see a studio tour. I'll do a studio tour. No big deal. My studio's not that crazy, but I'll do a studio tour if you want. Just leave a comment below. And also like this if you guys like this video.
Less is more. Tell you that.
Yeah. So yeah, let's just listen to the vocal real quick.
Tombstone killing it. Who you know is ill as this? Swerving up that rhythm shit, and you know we killing it. Tombstone killing it. Who you know is ill as this? Swerving up that rhythm shit, and you know we killing it. Killing it.
So now it's really simple. Like obviously that doesn't sound like me, right? You hear my voice now. That's not my voice. That's not what my voice sounds like, but that is me. So you can actually see that I have a few things going on. I have all of these tracks running through a vocal bus, and it's just this is just for effects, really. All the processing had been done already, so I recorded my vocals compressed in. That's why they're like this. So I recorded through my compressor and all that stuff. You don't need it. If you have Logic, you can use Logic compressors inside, and they sound just as good. But having the hardware gear, you got to use it, right? So. And then the rest are just copies of that one vocal, and I just pitched some up, pitched some down, chopped them up, and I used my favorite thing to use for vocal pitching is the Sound Toys. Where are you at? Oh, this isn't actually. I actually had to record it on my laptop. Isaiah does not have the Alter Boy on his laptop, so
no, I don't. Yeah.
I used the Sound Toys Alter Boy on my vocal here because it just sounded better than the Sound Shifter pitch. This plugin is also, let me open it. This plugin, come on, where you at? Oh, it's on the other screen. This plugin is a secret weapon that people have been using all the time. I'm sure you guys know it. If you guys have been producing for any amount of time, you know this plugin for sure. This is good for pitching up, and that's what I used it for. I used it to pitch up in here. Either I did it here or I already bounced it down with the pitch up. I don't remember. Oh no, see it's doing it. So now that's just pitching up, as an effect. You got to use everything you got in the track. If you want a more in-depth walkthrough of how I recorded these vocals, what the processing was, check out the video. There's going to be a card up here. You can check it out. So that'll be the vocal video. You guys can check it out on your other time. But basically, this track is pretty much just the vocal, some arps, and some heavy ass drops. That's really it. And we have these effects. They're just sweeps, risers, standard effects. Nothing too crazy. We do have this really cool atmosphere thing that we used. It's really quiet, but it's this pretty, really pretty really pretty sound that we used. I don't remember who made this or if we grabbed it as a sample or what, but it's this really nice like vocal kind of thing. I like to use a lot of these in my songs too, because I like having my songs be musical, and having
same here.
having really pretty sounds in them. So what we have here is this atmosphere, and like Zay said, creating that atmosphere is very important. You know, you don't even hear it in the song, really. It's just there. You can tell if it's not in there.
Yeah, we're.
It's this like really, really low thing that kind of takes your electronic sound into a different space and makes it sound not so electronic.
Yeah.
Using a lot of atmospheres like that, and even real world sounds and stuff too.
Gives you a big
yeah,
sound.
Yeah, it's really important.
Layering is not the way to make a song sound big. That's the
Yeah.
way to make your master channel clip
Yeah,
super hard.
yeah. And you don't really need like a million layers of things. You really don't.
It looks like we
need-
have a lot now, but if you actually zoom in on stuff, nothing's really layered, you know?
Yeah, it's all single sounds like drum sounds and and every section of the song doesn't have like so many things going on. Every section, the section that has the most stuff going on is the drop section, because that is the biggest section of the song.
If you really want to fill up the stereo or frequency spectrum, it's all about compression. And you can get more in depth of that into the master class.
Yeah, it's all about compression and picking the right sounds.
Yeah, it's very important.
Yeah.
You can pick a good sound, but once you throw it into the session, it won't sound the same as like in your DAW.
Yeah.
But then once you do the proper compression, it'll like that's how I do it with my kicks. Like I'll put a kick into my session. It won't sound like it knocks, but then I do my my magic and it really knocks hard.
Yeah.
It really knocks.
Yeah, you really want to make sure that you pick the right sounds. So yeah, and like this track is it's pretty simple. Like
there's not that much.
It's not that much. Really.
I think we went over everything.
We went over pretty much everything, and if
now
you guys
can see, it's pretty simple. You know, it's
yeah,
not that crazy.
Yeah, totally. If you guys want to know more, let us know in the comment section below.
On certain sections,
and we'll go through it. I'm not sure if this video is totally. We'll put the whole video out. I was going to do it in sections, but it doesn't make sense to do it in sections.
Just for you guys.
We'll put the whole video out. And if you've gotten this far, thanks for watching. Also, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe on this video and on this channel. And hit that bell button so that you know when that masterclass comes, because you do not want to miss out. Any producers out there, you know where you're at. You know what I'm saying to you is making sense. You know that. You know where you're at. And you don't want to miss out on this opportunity to get better quicker. And Zay is that testimonial, and he got a Dimmock release in a year and a half of starting. Within a year and a half of starting producing. That is crazy. He got his first Dimmock is a big label. That's Steve Aoki. You know what I mean? So Steve heard his track and was like, "Yo, that's dope." So he wanted to do it. He wanted to keep.
Played on the radio.
He even played it on his radio show.
Being Velvo out.
Yep. So it's pretty dope, and it can happen for you too. So the same kind of success can happen for you too, and it's never going to be overnight. So having a team, or not even a team, just having a community around you to help you get through and get to your goals, is pretty much the most important thing you can have, and you're going to get that with the VNDL Masterclass. So yeah, anyway, enough about that. Thanks for watching. Thanks for making it this far into the video. If you haven't checked out this song, it's in the description below, and we'll catch you next time. Peace.
That tombstone rhythm shit.